everyone. Happy it's Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yes, Thursday.
Happy Thursday. And I keep doing this. I did this yesterday too. I put lip gloss on, which Matt has never had the experience of lip gloss on his teeth, probably, but I just had that. So, welcome. It's so cool to be with Dr. Matt. He and I have worked together for many years, and our like green room experience today was about 30 seconds because we've done this so many times. So yay to myelination, yay to having done it a whole bunch of times. And Dr. Matt, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. So let's just do, for those who haven't been in our sphere together with us, we have a pretty big title here: 459 new practice members in 1 year, all from referrals. Like, is that really true? Tell us about
Very,
it.
very true. Yeah, we have a big, I think it's 6 or 8 foot whiteboard on the side of the office as soon as you walk in on one of the entrances, because we have two. And above it, it says, it's been there so long I forgot the caption, but it's a referral is an act of love and kindness, something of that nature. So we put every month, and we put the initials of every person that refers somebody in. So we have a system of who referred in. Like, there's a couple points of contact when the new patient comes in. So we always like to acknowledge when someone gets referred in by somebody else. That way, every year we've been tracking it. It's pretty much almost doubled every year since we opened. And this year we're going to blow. Last year was, 459 or something like that. And if we get on track for where we are now, we'll probably come close to 600 this year.
That's incredible. And for those of you who are like, yeah. One of the things I love about this is that I started this same thing in 1998. Right? So this has been that whiteboard with,
Yep.
like, online it said, like, welcome to Stern Family Chiropractic. Thanks for expanding our family, or something like that. And it had the name of the person, just like you said. So I started it in my practice in 1998, and Dr. Matt has carried it forward in his practice, where like asking for referrals is an act of love and service. If Dr. Matt is my practice member and I care very deeply for him, of course, I want to help him surround himself with healthy, happy, optimistic people, because it impacts his life, right? Like, if we're only around Debbie Downer, it's like, right? That takes a lot of energy. If we're around people who are sick all the time, that takes a lot of energy. And so Dr. Matt and I are here inviting you, take this mindset on of asking for referrals is an act of love and service. And part of the reason that we say that with confidence is, number one, we see it. And number two, we have both invested a ton of time, energy, training, and money into being referral rock stars.
Yep.
So Matt, walk us through your most favorite way to ask for a referral, and then not only ask for it, but get it.
So we've talked about this in the past many times, and it hasn't changed from the office from day one. So me personally, everyone has their own vibe and their own energy. I don't personally like to ask specifically, hey, who needs to come in like that? It's just me. We're very fast paced at the office. I try not to waste time in certain things, but that's an important part of the office. So I built a system where there's pretty much 6, sometimes 7 to 9 points of contact, where it gets subliminally behind the scenes the patient in the mindset that people like to be here. So yes, we got the whiteboard. It says, it stands a staple in the office itself. But when someone calls in or they walk in, right, on my front desk staff asks their name, tells them who they are, and then immediately says who referred you to the office. Some people are just so shocked, like, I didn't know I needed a referral. And then we always have an answer, like, no, you don't need one. We just like to acknowledge people that send people in. We like to thank them, right? So people are surprised. They're like, oh, I didn't know that. And then when they come in, we have it on new patient paperwork, who referred you to the office. My staff, once they take that, will acknowledge it. And then when they come back to the x-ray room, to the new patient room with me, I greet them, call them by name, and then the second thing I always go to right away is who referred you, and I'm making another point to say that again. So there's multiple points, even just day one, where they're seeing, like, wow, people want to be here because they referred others. And then before we leave, we always thank them, like, hey, we're going to get Tommy, who sent you in, on the board. because people like to see their name in lights. They want to be acknowledged. So it's even
Yes.
outside of that, people come in, and sometimes if we're a little behind because we're busy, they'll be sitting in the waiting room and be like, hey, I referred somebody in March. My name's not up there. And it's like they want to get their name up there. So they'll start telling their staff members. So when I have that system, and it's just bulletproof now, most people are asking for a new patient packet before they leave for their first appointment or on their second one. Like, hey, I need one for my husband. Like, here you go. Let's get them started. It'll be easier, less time in the office. We try to make everything easy, so patients don't have to think about it or feel pressured.
Yes. So there's research that substantiates it takes about 15 nudges, touches, experiences for somebody to take the action that we want them to take. So what you maybe didn't hear in between the lines of what Dr. Matt was saying is they have systems in place for touch regarding this concept of referral. It's not something that just comes out of the blue when numbers are low. And then Dr. Matt and his team are like, hey, Barbara, so you've been getting really great results. So here's our card. Never.
Never.
I have
Not
never
going to
said
happen.
that. And I can promise you, Dr. Matt has never said that.
Nope.
It's not something that we just reactively do. These systems are baked into the policies and the procedures and the energy in our office because we really and truly believe that asking for referrals is an act of love and service. And so they're intentional touch points along the way of the journey of our practice members to ensure that they stay, they pay, and they refer.
Correct.
And another subtle thing that Dr. Matt didn't say, but he alluded to, this idea that somebody has maybe planted in your mind, those who are listening to us, that people really don't want you to bring their name up, or they don't really want to be a part of a referral system. That's not true. They want to see their names in lights. Why? Yep. Because no matter what the human condition says, right here, right now, what's about me? Make this about me.
Yep.
See me, understand me, acknowledge me.
Yeah, it's even a pride thing of some patients, and they tell me they're getting a conversation right away, like because their friend came in, and it's like they went to another chiropractor, but they're getting results. I'm like, no, my guy's better. They keep saying that, so it's like automatically, like I see she's getting better already. I told you my guy was better. It's a pride thing too, which if you want to, they want to take that, all for it, right? Like I appreciate the referral.
Yes. Make it always about your practice member. So here's what happens though. When we make it about us, we come up with stories that say, oh, well, I don't want people to think I'm selling. Oh, I don't want my people to think that whatever blah, 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 is that they're saying.
Yep.
No. Our practice members, and when we set contacts, which is setting the reticular activating system, and we help them see like, hey, when you share your experience in this office, you're making a lasting impact in somebody else's life. Hot dog. Like, did you know you could make a lasting impact in that way? Like, who's the first person that comes to mind that you'd love to see their life change? Everyone wants to think that their life is a catalyst for somebody else's transition and somebody else's transformation. So speak on that for a few minutes. What are the other ways, whether in your office or the endless things that you and Jess do, and Jess is Dr. Matt's wife, who is a very instrumental part of their business and their growth and the energy in their office and all of those things. This dynamic duo are definitely a dynamic duo together, and it's a duo of three. But at any rate, let's talk more about that.
Yeah. Outside of the referral, you mean?
Yeah, what do you guys do that you've done just like bam, 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 so consistently out in your community? Because again,
I got you.
A lot of times we see our colleagues doing it in order to, right? Like my practice numbers are low, so I'm going to get out in the community, and you've never done it that way.
No, I don't like that. And it's just me personally. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. Some people, that's their niche. They love sitting in like Walmart's parking lot doing scans. It's just me personally. It drives me mad. I just like a network of people. So outside of like our whole built-in referral systems, because that has worked so much where to this day we're open. It's coming up October will be 6 years. I've spent $450 on marketing. Like that's it. We don't pay for it. And all that was we've won. There's two major awards: Best of Iredell and Best of Lake Norman. We've won those. We're actually in the running now for the top three again. This will be the 6th year or 5th year. So we won those 4 and 5 years in a row. That's the only time when we won that we put it on Facebook and paid for it. So it isn't actually marketing, but we like to go in town. So we changed. I have a TV screen now, so I'm putting a PowerPoint up. But our other side of the office, I had a whiteboard, and we used to do like local spotlights. So anyone who came in a patient's wise, they had a business, and I heard about it, I'd be like, hey, we're going to make a Facebook post, and then we're blast you up on the board so people can ask, like whether it's a real estate agent or it's a pool cleaning service, whatever it is, and we do that. And that's a huge thing because people are like, hey, I have a business, I make jewelry, can I go up there next month? So we just had 3-4 months lined up of people that are going to be up there. And then they appreciate that now. So they're going to tell people about us and so on and so forth. Are they neat net? We have a lot of people that have a brewery in town. We became friends with them, support them. So I did a patient appreciation day one day. I just went and bought any of my patients that want to show up and wanted a pizza. They gave us a discount. We sat there and just bought, I think, something like 100 pies or something like that. So we're supporting them, and then other people are coming out patient-wise to experience their place, but also recognize that we're buying them dinner. So those are little things we've done. We don't always do stuff like that. We have a Sensory Santa event that everyone loves. We get a lot of donations for that. It's getting bigger every year. So there's quite a number of things we do. More community felt and making roots and relationships rather than, like scans and stuff of that nature and sitting at races or anything. That's just not my thing.
So I just have to brag on Dr. Matt and Jess here, because you know what? They don't even serve the pediatric population or the special needs population. But in the boot camp, we started talking years ago about Sensory Santa and just what a blessing it was for families with special needs kids to be able to come to Sensory Santa. So talk for a second about Sensory Santa after I say this. They do it because their community needs it.
Yep.
It's not an order to thing. Dr. Matt and Jess saw a need in their community that they could step in, take what they learned in the boot camp from other offices who are doing it, and say, this is just our give back, regardless if we attract new practice members. And I want you to feel and see their heart here. Go ahead.
Yeah, a few of them that showed up are actually patients of mine, but we just got out in the community. I think it was either a second or third year doing it. The local news got a hold of it and did a little commercial for it as well. So it got a little bigger since then. But my wife heard it actually and just, her heart melted. So she's a big part of organizing that by all means. And there's nothing like that around here. And we heard so many stories of like, we try to go to the mall, we try to get first in line, but then they're embarrassed because a lot of the kids don't know how to act, they get overwhelmed. So it's like, wow, that's where it really hit. That first time we did it, we heard that story. We're like, this is actually really needed. Nobody does this, right? So we got a volunteer Santa and a photographer. They get a free like professional photo, and we paid them anyways. But they wanted volunteer, but we give them a little tip ourselves. And it's grown so much now. My wife's pregnant right now, so we're trying to make it still happen this year because she's going to be due like right in October, November. But either way, we made a new connection. One of my patients in town has a very large farm-based wedding venue, and they have this whole walk-through light system, and they have a Santa and like above a whole barn, so they have animals. So they want to have it at their place this year. So they would actually have two Santas, so we can double the size of it if we want to, which is pretty cool.
I love you guys' hearts, and I feel especially connected to Matt and Jess when they found out they were pregnant. I got one of the first pictures of what that meant, and I'm not going to tell your story. If you decide in this interview that you want to, you can tell that story, but I was just so excited for them. It's been a journey to become parents, but at any rate, there's something I received from another influencer, thought leader, just incredible human today, and it seems appropriate to talk about it here. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but Create meaningful memories and moments for people that connect them with their deepest part of their lives that they are passionate about. So
Like that.
this, like, one of the leading things that I see Matt doing over and over and over again. Now, this individual, Dr. Matt, doesn't have a pedigree that most of us consider as necessary to be successful. Um, so it's not like he can point back and be like, oh, that's why I'm successful.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that for a second.
Um, so yeah, like major summary of the background. I grew up very poor family. We lost our house, lived out of my car as a kid. So I always had a very poor monkey mindset that we always talked about. I just not capable of doing it. I wouldn't grow up in that world. We'll never be successful. At some point, I always wanted to be a chiropractor. Didn't think I could do it just because I was poor, you know? So I was just a goal-driven person from my mom always leaving me a list of things to do by the time she gets home from her 3 jobs. And it's like sometimes I planned ahead of time. Sometimes it was right when she was pulling in the driveway, but I had a goal. I had to get it done. And she didn't even know she was training me to be a goal setter. So I always have every single goal, and I have an obsession of checking it off. Like I'll set a date. Sometimes I don't hit it, but that needs to be checked off. So when we signed up with you, I was literally petrified of my own office, but I know I can't have someone else controlling my life. So the biggest thing, which we still have on a whiteboard in our house, is all in massive action, capital letters. And that's what we do. Everything we've done from the get-go, from getting our stuff in for our first SBA loan when we started, like they told us we had the fastest closing of any business they've ever worked with because we're just on it. Like when we have something to do, we have to get it done. And you get it
Yeah.
done fast in the right way. So it's just accumulation of everything. It's just the mindset of you just keep going forward, don't look back. There's always mistakes. There's always ups and downs. I
Yeah.
mean, office is doing great, but there's always flaws, especially with employees. It's nonstop. I mean, nobody has a perfect office. They paint that picture, but you face a new tackle of a new issue, and how do I get past this on the other side? And I just put my focus on that instead of like, getting lost in the sauce of like life is miserable, this is horrible. It just keeps going from there. The higher you achieve, the higher level of success you achieve, there's more obstacles to get over, and it's the same concept. It's just maybe it's a bigger deal, but you have to get past it.
Yes. And I love, it's kind of like raising kids. When they're little, they have little problems and it can feel like overwhelming. Well, as they get older, they just have bigger problems. No different than a practice, right? Like a small practice and a small business still has these three things: lead gen, sales, fulfillment. Go to Amazon, lead gen, sales, fulfillment. It's
Yep.
those three things, right? And it's really easy to feel like whatever level that we're at in success, it's something different. It's not. It's the same. It comes down to lead gen, sales, and fulfillment, with this as the overarching theme. Love people. Love people. Right? And that's something that you and Jess do so well. We love people. We set up structures for consistent, authentic impact. And the degree of that impact is what is synonymous with our income,
Yep.
right? Like as we make more impact, we earn more income.
Yep. That's
Just
something I thought I would struggle with too, of like, obviously you need money, you never had it, you want to work for it. That's always in there. You have goals for it. But if your eyes are always on the dollar, like you just miss the whole concept of the business and um, that part of level of care, like where you focus on the patient. So it's the
yeah.
same thing. If you love what you do, like it's going to come at you. And like we hit where we're at the office now, like even this year's, like the beginning was fantastic. It dipped down the summer, which it usually never does. It's offices are always up and down. It's always going to happen. You're never going to have the busiest month every month all the time. But from what we achieved so far is way past whatever thought. Like last year's, and we only worked 3.5 days a week, and we had just shy of a $900,000 office, and just with me by myself with 2 staff. And it's like that is something I didn't even have written down.
Wait, slow that down. Say all of that again because it's nearly unbelievable.
It
What did
is.
you achieve in 2024?
So we had a collect just for the chiropractic side, not including the massage and all that. We had high up in the 800s, $1,000 just working 3 days a week, 3.5. We have a Saturday here and there, but yeah, just us, two staff, and just me. I'm the only chiropractor in there as well. So it's again, on my goal list wasn't even there. 500,000 was just like the craziest thing in my mindset when we started. Like, wait, we can get to that one day, and it's like, hey, we almost doubled it, you know?
Yes. So, for all of you, if you're following a coach or a group or have this idea that you have to spend a bunch of money to make money, or you have to have all of this overhead, or all of these team members in order to make impact, and then you go home and you feel broke because literally you're broke because you're spending all your money in your office, I'm here to tell you that's not the case. So Dr. Matt hit 900,000 plus with a $450 lifetime budget for marketing.
Yeah,
So
literally.
let's just let that sink in for a second.
It's all that referral system. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. Just friends, family, the same way. No one's different. Even some people that you don't want to treat them the same exact way. And you do what you need to do, and then behind the scenes, how the office runs and making it seamless and making it less stressful for them. That all comes into play too. You know, it's the whole package of how they experience. Like we love the patient walking through the door and saying, like, I already feel better, and it happens all the time. They have a big sigh. It's like they didn't even see me yet. So that's when you know, like, we get to a good spot.
Nice. So Dr. Matt doesn't stop at the four walls of his practice. He's also written a book and teaching other chiropractors. So let's step into that avenue for just a second. What else do you have going on?
So I'm just starting and growing a business. Really, my whole focus was on to teach chiropractors how to be better adjusters, because that is something I take very, very serious from the get-go. From even before I went to school, when I had my mentors, and then doing mission trips. I went out to Dominican Republic, out in the mountains, and just treating people there. And I really honed in on my skill level that way. So even before I graduated, I was at very high skill level. And the one thing I noticed, and I love our profession, and it doesn't mean you can't get any success, are a lot of the schools are not teaching how to be specific. You know, you learn your line of drive, and then you say it for boards, pushing here, and then everyone starts getting the same adjustment over and over and over. But me, I really rely on my functional movement assessment for them, but really my x-rays and what do I need to adjust, whether I'm lateral flexion, rotation, and I'm repetitively adjusting what I need to for them. And with doing very little, I get people better of significantly faster than I used to treat when I first came out of school, when I honed in on those things. So I put a master adjusting seminar together to help students, or mainly students as target before they get out, but I'm helping anyone. I've done a lot of one-on-ones with chiropractors that are struggling in their office, or one that worked for the VA as well, and just trying to help them out. I did branch off of that, trying to make a network of it. I started a book. I was actually complete with it, and I had one talk with you actually a number of months ago, Dr. Barber, and you said, like, are you getting anything with mindset? And I noticed I didn't really have anything there. Besides the attitude you need to have and focus on your adjustment, I'm like, I didn't tap into it all. So I started adding to it, and I think I'm almost complete. So I got a little bit more into mindset and then the business side. But yeah, I wanted to focus a little bit more on, it was a backstory and where I came from, how I got to where I am, and then into the meat and potatoes of how your office is successful, not just with the adjusting, with everything. So I'm finishing that up now. I'm excited to get that out.
And here, like, here's something that I want everyone who's watching this now or watch this later. The reason I had Dr. Matt talk to you and share where he came from is so often I hear entrepreneurs limiting themselves in these kinds of ways. Oh, well, my family, we weren't good with money. As if that's the excuse why now someone struggles financially. Or I didn't have a role model who was an entrepreneur, so that's why I'm struggling. I want all of you to know the past only has implication to your today based on what you tell it has implication for. Period.
Yep.
Right? Like, our past is just the stories that we made up that get colored and then planted into our hippocampus. And either Either we are neuroplastic or we're not. It's not a little or not. It's either 100% yes or 100% no. And as chiropractors, if it's really easy to compartmentalize neuroplasticity and be like, oh, in the office and when it comes to physical healing, 100% neuroplastic. Because if we're not neuroplastic, we might as well hang up our pisiforms. Right? Like, I mean, that's really the truth of it.
That's
So
true.
we all hold that to be true, that we're neuroplastic. That applies to every aspect of our life. That applies to every single limiting belief. That applies to every part of our past and every part of our future. Now, I will tell you this, and this is something I talk a lot about in my book. And one of the reasons I wrote this book is to help you see that we can myelinate the gap. Myelinate the gap between circumstance, which that circumstance can be a limiting belief. That circumstance can be something someone says now or has said in the past. Circumstance and reaction. And many of us are living in the wiring of reaction versus response. Like, I just decided I'm 1,000% committed to living a life that is peaceful, joyful, and fulfilling. Well, what I looked at was in my life, I wasn't experiencing that because of I was so reactive and living out so many of my limiting beliefs. And so I decided I'm going to elongate that between circumstance and now choosing my response. So in this example, Dr. Matt could very easily be like, hey, I grew up living out of my car. My mom was a single mom, busting her butt every minute, having 3 jobs to take care of the 2 of us. And he said, I want that to be my biggest motivator, not the thing that causes me to shrink.
It was, and it's something neuroplasticity wise. When I started, it was hard because my goal was to take care of my mom. I told her that since I was little, and she actually passed away a few days after I walked across the stage, graduating from chiropractic college. And it's like this was my whole goal, was to take care of her and show her that we can do something greater. So I had to change my mindset of like you can still make her proud, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, the driving force, you just got to tweak it a little bit.
And Dr. Matt has also extended that gap between circumstance and how he wants to respond. Whether it was completing his book and being like, I want to add some more in, or it wasn't good enough for him to just be like, I'm a great adjuster. Again, he saw a need and said, well, no one else is stepping in to fulfill it. I will.
Yeah, I saw the
Because,
need. I was interviewing to get another chiropractic in the office, which didn't go as planned. We're gonna revisit that at a later time, maybe next year or so. But I had a lot of people interview, and they were overly petrified of adjusting and showing me their skill level, because in school, especially with COVID, what I didn't know, a lot of schools were having a technique class online, and that blew my mind. And their skill level was not there. It was very scary. So one girl actually helped fly out to my office because she didn't have the money. She was actually working at FedEx because she couldn't find a job. And I immediately realized she was not lying at the skill level. And we were just honest about it. Like, hey, you need a lot of help. I mean, I don't have the time to train you because the skill level was very low. But she went into detail to how the clinic was, and her girlfriend was doing the same thing. And she actually dropped out because it was so bad. Like, all her friends were struggling as well. That she knew quite a few people in South Carolina. So I just turned it, she was already here. I turned it into a lesson. That's where I came up with the idea. And I'm like, this is what you need to work on. Like, go find a high volume practice where you can just get some volume and practice. We picked out the problem she was having with adjusting. And I followed up with her a few months later, and she actually just did that. She got in with one of the joints practices, and she was just working our volume. So that's where my wife was like, you just made that so much easier. Like, I understood what you were saying. She's not a chiropractor, right? She's like, you need to be doing this. So that's where I'm like, I started beyond the adjustment master classes, and I'm like, this is what we need to do, because we need to help the profession as well. Like, because I don't like the view in the profession.
yes, I love that. So step in and fulfill a need. And Dr. Matt is doing this. So Dr. Matt, as we wrap this up, what um what has been the most impactful lesson that you've learned from our coaching and our connection that has made the biggest impact in your overall success and just enjoyment in life?
Um, there's a lot of takeaways that we've had over the years, actually. So I just love the connection to networks. We had, in the beginning, when I had so many questions, you have so many people that specialize in different things, from a Robin with the Medicare component and all that. So having that network is huge for me. I love having a diverse of people we could talk to with specialties or interests or so. But I'd say, like, if I just had a quick pick one thing that sticks out in my mind, it's a mindset thing. So my wife and I, we still do it to this day. We joke around. We say, when we have something we don't want to do, we literally just say, all in, massive action. Like, don't be a wuss. And that's
Yeah.
that. If that was worth every penny we paid to get in the beginning of it, or just the dive into the whole component, was just all in, massive. Like, honestly, I could have heard that and just took off and ran with it. So the
Yeah.
mindset thing is the biggest thing for me, because that's what I struggle with. I had a poor monkey mindset, and that's where I was stuck, and I didn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
You just came in with a hard truth and was just like, you got to make a move or you won't. Like, and I needed that push. That was the biggest thing
That,
for me. I
yeah.
appreciate it very much.
And that's it. I mean, in essence, this book is about that all in, massive action, right? Of we got to move. Like I so often hear from docs, I just want to have the confidence. And so they're sitting back trying to develop confidence here. Confidence comes from action.
Yep.
And just because you watch Dr. Matt and I taking all in, massive action, don't kid yourself. It doesn't mean that we always know what's happening. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't even mean that we feel confident in the moment. But what we have wired is action is going to change results.
Yep.
Right? And so it's this interesting balance and mindset of, we don't necessarily figure it out here and then go. We go, and then as the trail, like Matt and I both love also hiking, and we're committed to at some point be hiking some mountain together
I
with
love
Jeff
it.
and their baby. I've already got the pack here, so you guys come on up. We'll throw the pack on you, and you can put your baby in.
Oh,
Um,
no problem with that.
at any rate, like so often when, especially in this state, as I'm moving forward on a trail, I get the view as I'm moving, right?
Yep.
It doesn't come, the oh kind of view isn't necessarily at the start of the trail when I'm in the woods. It's as I get above the tree line, and now it all opens up, and it's like, wow, if I hadn't just put in the steps, I wouldn't be getting this view. Let's talk about that for just a second. In
Oh, the
these last,
work is so much worth the reward with that. We were talking about it often because we hike all the time. Like, our
yeah,
best trip, the best view I ever had was we went to the Dolomites in Italy and just had an unbelievable time. Like, I felt like I was climbing the mountain in Lord of the Rings, but when I got to the top, it was unbelievable. But we have a mountain nearby. It's like 45 minutes away. It's called Pilot Mountain, and you can drive to the top. And we love the view at the top. And we got up there. We had no idea you could park up there. There's a whole parking lot, and these people just getting out of their car, snapping pictures, and back down. And like, you didn't even see it, you didn't take it in. So like, the ride up, and then we always compare it to business. Like, all the massive action from what you said. A lot of times we have no idea what's going on, especially when something bad happens. It's like, we just know that massive action. Like, we got to move now, or we're going to freeze, and we're not going to know how to handle it. And at the end of it, you feel so much more confident. Like, wow, that was a crazy thing that just happened, but it's in the past, and we're done. But
yeah,
just like that hiking trip, it feels so good, especially when you're at the end, when you're like, "Are we almost there?" Like, "Oh, I hate this, I'm tired," and you get to the top, and you just forget about all that nonsense you just went through. That's,
yes,
that's the
yes.
greatest feeling.
The view at the top is worth it.
Yep.
It's worth it. And to me, hiking is so much like success. Like, it takes forever. And when you just said, people get to the top, take pictures, and then they're already done and on to the next thing. That's something that now at this stage of my life is I drink it all in for longer periods of time.
Yep.
It's not like let me just put my mouth around like the fire hose. It's like the whole essence of it. Like, what is the whole essence, and who am I becoming in the process? A great book that our pastor turned me on to. It's called To Hell with the Hustle. And it's interesting because in the very beginning, he talks about how he and his wife don't set goals anymore. They set behaviors, which is basically the same as saying, what are the habits that are going to lead to those? And let's wire those habits so that regardless if it's 2025 or 2024 or 2027, we have 460 new practice members a year from referrals, right? Like Dr. Matt, you can probably even feel it in this interview. Like that's a wire that's never going to be broken. His
Oh, no, yeah, no.
his business will always have the cornerstone of lead gen be through relationship, which leads to referrals. And something that I've learned from Garrett Gunderson, like this is now our 7th year of knowing each other and working together, is mental capital, right? Our skill set, our mental capital, what we learn, plus relationship capital is what leads to wealth. And so often I see some people being really strong in one and never getting consideration to the other, or vice versa. But it's both of those. And then the bridge that connects them is collaboration. So for anyone watching now or watches this later, if you're not collaborating, you're missing the bridge that puts mental capital and relationship capital together that leads to what you're trying to do, and that is build wealth. So Matt, for just a minute, talk about collaboration, because you do it so well in your community.
Yeah, and when I do collaborating that way, like networking, so to say, I don't always have the business and the mindset either. Like, hey, I need to benefit from this. One of the biggest ones that actually just helped me right now, I'm secretly, my wife doesn't want to know about the nursery. I'm doing it by myself, so I'm going a little all out. But my cabinet guy, for example, I had this couple come in, Spanish couple, really didn't know English very well, and they were just a ton of pain. They always seemed depressed every visit, and the wife could handle English a little bit, so we got a conversation. She's like, "Well, we're working at this factory, killing ourselves, but he's a carpenter. Like he just wants the woodwork, and we can't find anything." And my buddy's a contractor. We're building houses together, and he had just told me 2 days before, like, "Mike, I'm behind, man. Like I'm behind this job because my cabinet guy, he's lost like 3 people." And I'm like, "I just found this guy. He does carpentry." So I hooked them up, and now they have the best network, and he's got all his friends from his hometown that are coming in. He actually just helped me build something for the nursery, and the guy that I got the job actually cut the pieces out that I needed. So I just went there, and I didn't realize he was still there. He shook my hand. He's like, "Thank you so much. I love this job." He said it in Spanish, but still, those kind of networking like that, building that bridge, like that guy's always going to look out and refer somebody to me for that reason. And I didn't even have that in the mindset. Those are the things I love, to connect people together, whether I'm going to benefit or not.
Yes, yes, yes. At 6:18, well, 8:18 this morning, I got this message from a friend. "Oh, Barbara, I admire your people connecting skills. I saw how I could connect different people together, and it matters so much." Dr. Cece, who's in the boot camp, just said, "Amen, sister. Can't do this alone. Love being a human connector." And she said, "Dr. Barb, you're so good at it." And so is she. Be a connector, which means this: you got to get out and learn who people are,
Yep.
right? Be interested more than you're interesting. Find out what are they up against that you can help them solve. That's also what, conversations lead to connection, connection to relationship, and relationship to commitment, turning strangers into friends, friends into appointments, appointments into profits. And Matt's heard me say this 1,000 times, when you're networking, take on this idea of, how would I know if the person I'm talking to is a great candidate for your business? Like, if you intentionally did that in your life and you set out to find out, how would I know if the person I'm talking to is a great candidate for your business, and that became your focus, I promise you, you would attract so many people into your sphere, you likely couldn't serve them all. If
Yep.
we're service first, if we're people first, it makes such a difference. Dr. Matt's success proves that. My success proves that. And if you look, and the cool thing is that joy and dopamine are the side effects of that kind of business philosophy of connection, collaboration, people, love. It's the essence of longevity. So I've almost tried to end this several times. So I'm legitimately going to end it now. Matt, how would you like individuals to reach out to you and to get in touch with you, and to get your help, or even just to say like, wow, dude, like that was amazing?
Honestly, since we're on the boot camp page, feel free to send me a message on Facebook that way. That's the easiest way to get to me. You could always email me as well. But if you DM me, I can send you my email. But yeah, that'll probably be the best way. I'll answer you fastest.
There you go. Send Dr. Matt a Facebook message, especially if you're someone who is in the North Carolina area, or you can plan to be in that area. I didn't ask Dr. Matt this, but I know him well enough to know, go and shadow him.
Oh, by
Don't
all
get in
means, I've
the
had
way.
quite a number of people shadow. It's all free for us. Like, and yeah, our staff love it too. So that's a great thing. Anyone can feel free to do that.
And listen, if you do that, because I've said this, please don't say, I want to pick your brain. That's not the idea here. It's to be in his sphere, to see what he does, and then take him out to lunch or dinner. It matters. I just had a client here, and Dr. Paula and Dr. Danielle did this as well. They paid for my dinner. It's not a big deal, but it does matter. It makes us also, because we're human too, feel valued, feel respected, to feel that our time and our contributions in your life matter. So if you're going to go follow him and you came from this, please do something back, because it'll also feel really good to you. So Dr. Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. Give
Yeah, thank you.
us a huge hug for me, and until our next Facebook Live interview, God bless you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone. See ya.